Gold rush. Rick Ness makes shocking move regarding his mining future. What to know? Parker Schnabel continued to work toward his hefty 10,000-ounce goal on Season 16 of Gold Rush. With only 400 ounces in 2 weeks, the mining prodigy was looking for big results during the Discovery Channel's November 21st episode. Tony Beats has been enjoying a nice head start with 632 ounces toward his own 6,500-ounce target. With such lofty objectives, Tony and Parker have to rely on new team members to get the job done. This brings a mixed bag for better or worse. Elsewhere, Rick Ness has still been reeling from having to pivot from Duncan Creek without a water license. It forced him into essentially brokering a deal with the devil in Troy Taylor to mine his claim at the Lightning Cut. Things take an unexpected turn on the negotiating front. Let's unpack what went on this week below. Parker had been reviewing resumes to get more crew on board. Foreman duo Mitch Blaschke and Brennan Rualt had been hard at work at Sulphur Creek. Elsewhere, Tyson Lee felt pressure at Dominion Creek with so many new people to train and orders to double productivity at the Bridge and Golden Mile cuts. New recruit Michael Thompson dug pay using wash plant bob. In comparison, Amy Lee had zero mining experience and was on her first day on the job. The former science teacher ran into issues with a rock jam in the conveyor drive. Parker showed up and went into action after Tyson discovered the issue. Tyson was impressed with Amy out of the gate with how she recognized the problem early on. The crew ran into another setback when Tyson received a call that the bridge cut was flooding. They did not want to have to shut Bob down. It turned out the narrow culvert was overwhelmed by the water and needed to be replaced with a bigger 36-inch one. Michael stepped up to the plate, completing the project at hand. The Parker crew came together for their weigh-in. The Golden Mile cut generated 152 ounces worth over $530,000, which was a 35% increase from the week before. Next up, Bob at the bridge cut came in at 156.2 ounces, worth almost $550,000. These were good numbers, but Parker now turned to Mitch and Brennan to get things going on their side of town. With the king of the Klondike almost out of pay dirt, he needed to open up more ground at the early bird cut fast. Much like Parker, Tony also brought in new recruits. Among them was Sam Moore, who was working in a rock truck. His orders with the rest of the team there were to get the spot down to pay within the week. Despite the inexperience, Tony's approach was to throw newbies in the deep end and hope they can swim. If that were true, Sam sank a bit after topping one of Tony's $300,000 rock trucks. This is of course no bueno, as the operation came to a screeching halt. Heavy equipment operator Jacob Moore was tasked with getting the truck back up. Tony basically told Sam to pay attention because if it doesn't happen again, he'll be fired. The mine boss kept his eye on the rookies, but he did also have Mason McIntyre to assist. Although Mason, the veteran truck driver, ended up flipping his $300,000 rock truck, a 480 excavator got him back on track. Tony panned the area and called over team members to reveal they have hit pay. This gave them the tangible reminder of the task at hand. The family convened for their weekly weighing. The early bird added 142.14 ounces, worth nearly $500,000. It's a drop in production though for Tony, so in his eyes they need to rev it up. Without a water license, Rick was left with no choice but to move on from Duncan Creek. He decided to take the gamble by leasing new ground with his old landlord Troy Taylor at Lightning Creek. Work had already begun at the Diamond Cut, with his staff and equipment moved over there. However, he hadn't technically been put to paper. Rick, who wasn't born yesterday, read the agreement closely. The contract gave Tony all the leverage and power, whereas Rick had to submit his mining plan. That, and if Rick failed to cough up the $20,000 a month, he could terminate the agreement within 3 business days. Rick drew the line. I'm not stopping, but I'm not signing this. Rick went to see Troy in an attempt to come up with a compromise. Troy said it wasn't anything personal, but that things have changed since the last agreement with water licenses. He explained, I have to have some teeth in this agreement. Rick felt he didn't warrant this level of supervision. He brought him 100 ounces owed to try if he got rid of the contract. Troy wouldn't budge. Rick took things further, asking, "What if I buy it?" Troy told the mining underdog he'd need another 200 ounces. "How about 100 ounces in a month?" Rick asked. "Then he'd own it outright, free and clear. Those 1,600 acres of land would cost $700,000 in gold." Troy agreed. Has Rick made a costly mistake? We'll get that answer in the episodes to come.